Okay, so what if I tell you that everything you just heard was actually just E minor pentatonic? Pretty cool, right? What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna see how you've basically been playing the pentatonic scale wrong. Or more specifically, we're gonna see how you can take the basic pentatonic shape that we all know and turn it into something that sounds a bit more interesting and, you know, a bit cooler. I think there's nothing wrong with the classic, you know, pentatonic scale licks that as guitar players we all play all the time. You know, that sounds great, that stuff is great. But if you want to actually take it a step further, you might want to check out stuff like this. Hey guys, real quick, before we get into today's video, I have a brand new training on this same subject, Pro Players Pentatonic Scale Secrets. You definitely want to check it out. If you want to know how to actually use the pentatonic scale, how to get the most out of it, and how to make it sound like a pro would do, definitely check out this training. Again, link in the description, completely free, it's about 20 minutes long, and there we have the chance to go more in depth into this topic and see how you can actually take this scale to the next level. Okay, back to the video. Okay, so the idea is actually pretty simple. We're gonna take the E minor pentatonic in this case. So obviously you might be familiar with the classic E minor pentatonic scale shape. And you know, there's nothing wrong with this scale, and it's actually, you know, probably one of the most used scales or shape specifically in history, I guess. But if you want to take that and turn it into something that gives you a bit more options, basically, what we're going to do is we're going to connect that shape, or basically every other shape of the E minor pentatonic scale. We're going to try to connect them together and expand the shape, more specifically the amount of notes that you have on each string. So that becomes basically something like this. So I'm playing actually on the 5th string, but you know, it's the same here. So this is basically just the extended pentatonic shape, right? We're just adding pretty much one note on each string. So you have the first two notes that you probably already know, and then you just add the next one on the same string. Now this obviously makes it so that every time you change string, you go to the next string, you basically have the same note. That actually can be pretty cool for certain things, like certain effects with the false fingering, right? Which is something that I actually quite like, but we're not going to really talk about that right now. Instead, what we're going to use this for is we're going to try to come up with an alternative way of playing the scale, the pentatonic scale. So I'll just play it slow real quick. So as you can see, it basically sounds exactly like, but we're using a different fingering. This is basically going to give you a lot more possibilities and a lot more options the more you try to explore this sort of pattern. Because once again, we're basically playing... If you think about it, we're playing 3 notes per string. And then every time you move to the next string, you're gonna have just one note. So we have 3 notes, 1 note, 3 notes, 1 note. So 3, 1, 3, 1, and so on. Also, this guitar is out of tune, so let's fix that real quick. And so already with these two ideas, so the extended pentatonic shape and the alternative pentatonic fingering, I guess, there's already so much new patterns that you can come up with, and it's basically a different way of looking at the pentatonic scale that I think is really helpful if you want to just, you know, not sound like you're just doing the blues. Which again, nothing wrong with that, that sounds amazing, but if you want to approach the scale from a more, I guess, linear perspective, you know, basically have something that sounds like this. You see there's a lot of different patterns that I'm using here, mostly just thinking with 3 notes per string, fingering, and then you can use repeated notes here and there to kind of create different, it's like different sequences within the pentatonic scale. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot that you can do with that, even by mixing different things, maybe more classic licks like the, you know, the bends, and I guess the more traditional pentatonic licks, and again mixing that with the more, I guess, modern kind of angular stuff. So that's basically it, actually. Again, the concept is pretty simple. Once you have these 2 ideas, and again, that is 3 notes per string, fingering, so 3 notes, 1, 3 notes, 1, and 3 notes again, and the other is just the extended pentatonic shape. You basically have, with these 2 things, everything you need to come up with basically every sort of combination and pattern within the pentatonic scale. Again, every note we're using is just, you know, the E minor pentatonic, E, G, A, B, D. Nothing extra from that, nothing more. So with really just these 2 things in mind, there's a lot of new possibilities that you can explore. Now obviously it takes, like, if you want to make it sound like really cool, it takes a little bit of practice to get like the shapes and also the connections between, you know, each shape, get it up to speed and being able to visualize that even when you play faster. That obviously just requires practice. Actually, I do recommend that you try to practice each shape individually at first. So like if I start from, let's say, here, you know, you memorize that shape and then you go to the next one, which should be here, starting on the G. And then starting from the A, B. So I'm basically keeping the same 3-1-3-1 pattern of notes on each string, but I'm starting every time from different points. And that's basically, I think, the best way to get familiar with the pentatonic scale as a whole on the guitar fretboard. So that way you don't get stuck just in one shape and it doesn't sound like you're playing just one pattern up and down over and over again, because that doesn't sound as, you know, cool as the other stuff. So that's what I would practice, and, you know, it takes a bit of patience, of course, but I feel like it's a good starting point. And also, it's still fairly easy. Like, it sounds cool, but that's actually, I think, the beauty of it. It's not too crazy of a concept. Like, you know, you can just grind these shapes for a while, you know, get good with the pentatonic scale, and you get something that sounds really, really cool without too much effort, I think. Especially if you already have the technique in place with, like, you know, the alternate picking, or even the economy picking works really well. If you keep, like, the down picks consistent when you change string. So that's down, up, down, down, down. That wasn't too clean, but you get the idea. This is pretty much every idea that I was playing with at the beginning. Maybe the only thing that actually makes a difference in making it sound really cool is the hybrid picking. That's definitely something that you can experiment with, even though I would recommend that if you're not too familiar with the pentatonic shapes yet, you know, just try to focus on that first, and without paying too much attention to the right hand, because once you have the scales and the shapes in place, it's going to be obviously fairly easy to add something like hybrid picking. or economy picking or any, you know, legato or any other way of playing those notes that make it sound kind of cooler. But yeah, that's pretty much it actually. Once again, there's not a lot going on as far as concept, really nothing crazy, but it's something that, you know, sounds cool and doesn't take too much effort, I think. But you know, you get something that actually sounds pretty cool and it's fairly easy to obtain. It's not like you have to practice like 7 different modes or, you know, some crazy theory stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And once again, the concept is not too crazy. It's really just about practicing each individual shape on the guitar, getting really comfortable with that, getting really familiar with all the shapes on the fretboard. And you know, when you play that up to speed, it sounds pretty cool. But once again, it's just E minor pentatonic, so it's super simple. And it's actually one of the reasons why I think most people should actually, before getting into crazy advanced ideas, they should just, you know, focus more on basic things like pentatonic scale or even triads. Because when you explore those things more in depth and see that you know, there's actually a lot that you can do with those. Like, things start to sound pretty cool and it doesn't take too much effort. It doesn't require to get too crazy with the music theory or with advanced ideas. So I would still consider this to be a pretty simple concept, even though making it sound cool requires a bit of practice and a bit of technique work. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also let me know what we should talk about next in the next lessons. Kind of running out of ideas here, so your feedback is, as always, super appreciated. So yeah, let me know in the comments. With that said, once again, check out the free training in the description and see you guys in the next video. Ciao.